This inauguration on Facebook and YouTube. Distinguished Chief Guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Professor Rajshekaran Pillai Sir, Dr. Monica Khanna Madam, Director, KJ Somaiya Institute of Management Studies, my dear faculty colleagues and members of the staff, parents, and dear students. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this morning's inauguration of the MBA programs, the MBA Healthcare Management and MBA Sports Management, the batch of 2022-24. Welcome aboard. I'm delighted to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V.N. Rajshekaran Pillai Sir, who has an illuminating career in the field of education, having been at the helm of affairs of several higher educational and scientific research institutions. He has been there for over 5 decades. He's a keen teacher, professor, researcher, and has been in top leadership positions as executive head of education, science, and technology establishments, both in the country and abroad. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Monica Khanna Madam, Director, KJ Somaiya Institute of Management Studies. She has a rich blend of industry, teaching, and research experience of 29 years. She also serves as the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies at Somaiya Vidyavihar University. She is a passionate teacher in the areas of marketing, branding, emerging markets, and international management. Dr. Monica Khanna is a visiting faculty at several international business schools like DHPW Stuttgart, Germany, and Peter the Great St. Petersburg Polytechnic University, Russia. Dr. Monica Khanna is also a research guide to several doctoral students. She is presently an elected member of the Executive Council of All India Management Association, New Delhi. I warmly welcome you, ma'am. It is undeniably my honor and privilege to introduce our eminent chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal, who is a senior business development executive in sales and marketing, a thought leader, and a very widely networked professional in governments with a recognized track record of delivering results well beyond postulated goals. He's currently an associate partner and strategic advisor at Ernst & Young, the globally renowned consulting organization, and an alumnus of the Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi. Mr. Satish Kaushal has a work experience of over 35 years in prominent organizations like Allahabad Bank, Olivetti, Arabic Computer Systems of Saudi Arabia, Microsoft Middle East, Microsoft India, and IBM India. He has been with EY for the past 14 years. He's a distinguished professional, networked at both operational and leadership levels of leading technology organizations, OEMs, system integrators, ISVs of national stature, and pioneer global information technology companies. Mr. Kaushal's long list of associations with several forums is certainly noteworthy. He is a member of the board of EY Public Sector Leadership Team, besides being a member of several strategic government associations like FICCI, CII, NASSCOM, IT Advisory Board for Government of India, and a trusted advisor to dominant decision makers in the country. He is also a member of various smart cities and skill development forums. Mr. Satish Kaushal is also the EYGPS India leader for health and transport sectors. Mr. Satish Kaushal has also been responsible for a myriad transformational programs of India, like National eGov Plan, Project Shiksha, Digital Kumbh, modernization of MSME sector, launch of UIDAI services through Aadhaar, setting up a fintech university in Rajasthan, ease of doing business, investment promotion projects in various states, digitization of the PDS system, and above all, making available Microsoft products in Indian languages, MCA 21, and many more. He has an extensive experience of networking with leaders like Mr. Bill Gates, Stephen Smith at IBM, chief ministers of different states, CEOs, chief secretaries, and secretaries across 28 states and nearly 30 central ministries. We are overwhelmed by your august presence. May I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to present a token of our appreciation to our chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal. Sir, take it from the front. Thank you so much, sir. I now invite our Vice Chancellor, sir, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. Dear Mr. Satish Kaushal, whom I know for the last 17 years, working for the various state governments, central governments, for e-governance, and for education in the whole country. I'm extremely glad that he has accepted our invitation and agreed to address the first class of the MBA 22-24 batch. On behalf of the university and on my personal behalf, I welcome Mr. Satish Kaushal. He had a lot of difficulties even yesterday, but in spite of all these challenges, he is with us today to address our students. We are really fortunate to have him with us today. Dr. Monica Khanna, my colleagues from the Somaiya Institute of Management, dear students who have joined the Somaiya Institute of Management for the various MBA programs, parents and other distinguished invitees. First of all, let me welcome all the almost 700 MBA students to the Somaiya Vidyavihar University campus. Somaiya Vidyavihar has been in the education and social activities for almost 1 century. Started with small school education, We are a university now with 34 institutions. You are part of a premier institution under the Somaiya Vidyavihar University, the Somaiya Institute of Management. And Somaiya Institute of Management is 40 years in management education, and it is, as probably you might have seen in our circulars and brochures, this is one of the top accredited institutions in the country. We have also been recently awarded the AACSB accreditation, which is a rare recognition for management institutions. Let me congratulate the entire team of the KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, the students, the earlier faculty, and all those who have contributed to the quality growth of this institution during the last 4 decades. Dear students, you are really fortunate to have to come to this campus. It's not only you are going to learn management education or business education in this campus. You have a beautiful campus, and we talk about comprehensive education. You have opportunities to interact with humanities, social sciences, languages, literature, cultural studies. This is the strength of the institution. It is not just a standalone management institute. It's a university as a whole, covering all disciplines, right from kindergarten, nursery, to postdoctoral fellowship. There is possibility of interaction. We have also, in the universities, in the whole Somaiya Vidyavihar system, we have over 3,000 teachers and 40,000 students from school to university system. You will also see colleges which are affiliated to Mumbai University in the same campus. So these are all rare opportunities. The very purpose of education is to enhance the quality of life and life management systems. And particularly when it comes to management education, it is not management of business or management of technology, because you are thinking about management of the whole life of the society itself when you take up management. And we know the challenges. You are also aware of the opportunities in management education. We have seen disruptions happening either by way of COVID or the Ukraine war, but in spite of disruptions, we are all going ahead. Yesterday, I was interacting with the Chief Economic Advisor of India. We are going to become a 5 trillion economy. Mr. Satish Kaushal will be talking more about some of the things, because he's an expert in the field. He has seen the growth of the country in comparison to other countries in the world. And therefore, your contribution, it is not only for enhancing the quality of life of the entire society. Maybe you have to just look at the sustainable development. We talk about energy economy. We talk about sustainability in all our activities, sustainability in management, sustainability in education, sustainability in governance, sustainability in industry. And our management institute is having all activities which are related to several initiatives which are connected with management education. And therefore, I wish you the very best in our campus. I am very confident that the type of facilities, the type of infrastructure, the type of ambience in this campus will make you well fit for facing the challenges of the society ahead. I wish you all the success. Let me wish you the very best in your studies and in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for so beautifully elaborating on the scope of management education. It is with great pleasure that I call upon our director, Dr. Monica Khanna ma'am, to present her address.
A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor of Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Shri Samir Somaiya, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Professor Rajashekharan Pillai, Secretary of the Somaiya Vidyavihar Trust, retired Lieutenant General Jagbir Singh, program coordinators, co-coordinators for the MBA programs, my very faculty colleagues, the staff, students, and the alumni of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming all the incoming students and their parents to the inaugural ceremony of the MBA batch 22-24, the MBA Healthcare Management batch, and the MBA Sports Management batch. KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, which was established in the year 1981, is a constituent college of the Somaiya Vidyavihar University since July 2019. This is the third batch of MBA students under the Somaiya Vidyavihar University. I also welcome our chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal, and thank him for gracing this occasion. There was a bit of a difficulty yesterday, but I think it all got sorted, and we are all here happy together. This is indeed a momentous occasion for all of us. We have been preparing to welcome all the students and inaugurate this MBA 22 batch in the offline mode. Because we had two inaugurals in the preceding years in the online mode, so we were really looking forward to the offline mode of inaugural. I want to first sincerely thank and appreciate the admissions committee of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management for tirelessly working day and night without looking at the watch and bringing the best of you here to the campus. I thank all of you for reposing your faith in us. This is a very big step for you. In fact, this could be your last step in the educational journey. The focus of the Institute is now on developing international quality standards in delivering management education. The Institute has recently got the prestigious US-based quality accreditation called as the AACSB in May 2022. This gives the Institute global footprints and puts us on par with other AACSB certified institutions all around the globe. I'm happy to inform you that we are the 19th business school in India to get this coveted accreditation. The Institute has been ISO 9001 certified by the Bureau Veritas since the year 2000, and currently we have the ISO 9001-2015 certification. I'm very happy to inform you that recently the Institute got awards from the Bombay Management Association for the Best Management Institute for 2018-19, Best Management Institute in the first runner-up category 2021, the Best Faculty first runners-up for 2021, and the Best Management Student for the year 2020-21. Indeed, this was a very proud moment. The award ceremony was just held on 11th of June, and it was a clean sweep for the KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. Our institute is located in a beautifully landscaped 50-acre campus right in the heart of Mumbai. And as all of you settle down, you'll realize the value of having a truly academic ambience for studying. We are committed to provide management education that is grounded in our values and traditions and is also contemporary and holistic and prepares you for Industry 4.0 and beyond. We follow a plethora of pedagogies that includes chalk and talk, case studies, simulation exercises, experiential learning opportunities, projects, assignments, master's thesis, guest lectures, technology-based teaching tools like Bloomberg Lab, Media Analytics Lab, Holistic Self-Management, Sports, and so on. We also have an on-campus incubation center called as the Riddle, and this will help you to hone your entrepreneurial ambitions. Our pedagogy and subject list is continuously updated through our illustrious Board of Studies to reflect the fact that both the faculty and students are in sync with Industry 4.0. In line with the new emerging employment opportunities and requirements of the industry, we have created the Department of Business Analytics and renamed our IT department as the Department of Data Science and Technology. We also have several centers of excellence for creating and developing the research culture. In spite of the COVID lockdown situation, faculty members have presented more than 46 papers in online mode in various national and international conferences, published in international journals, published in national journals, written books, chapters, and also won awards. Our institute journal, Business Perspectives and Research, it is now a SAGE publication with 3 issues per year, is a C category publication under the ABDC 2019 listings. Despite the COVID, we hosted several eminent speakers online during the last academic year, and our guest speakers have come from the Kedge Business School in France, New Jersey City University in New York, faculty from UC Leuven-Limburg in Belgium, Head of International Relations at DHBW Stuttgart in Germany. Then we have International Relations Office, University of Technology of Troyes in France, then International Relations Offices from the University of Applied Sciences in Krems, Austria. And we have had ambassadors on online mode. I think we have really gone out of our way to invite various guests from different fields and to address our faculty and students. We've also had faculty student exchange program, and one student went to US, one student went to Belgium, and 2 students went to Stuttgart. And these students who went to Stuttgart, they got scholarship of 2,000 euros. Each of them got that. So I think overall, it's a good feel-good factor for the institute. For the students, ultimately, the placement is very important. So I'm happy to inform you it's been 100% placement for us. The highest salary has been 26.5 lakhs. And the average salary for the top 100 offers was 15.81 lakhs. And we've had various other details. There's an ant here. Sorry about that. So the summer internship also has been 100% through our campus. And highest stipend for the summer internship was 90,000 rupees per month. 150 companies visited the campus for summer internships, and 40 new recruiters hired for summer placements. Alumni relations, it's very, very important for us today. We have 13,000 plus alumni spread all across the globe. It is a constant endeavor of the alumni relations team to connect and collaborate with our alumni. With many of our alumni becoming industry leaders, the institute takes pride in them and celebrates their successes. The alumni relations team engages alumni for various institute activities, right from the admission process, mentoring our students, as jury members for various events and competitions. As being part of this family of the KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, you can be rest assured that this relationship between you and the institute will go much beyond the 2 years that you spend on the campus. As alumni, you can expect the institute to support you lifelong with lateral job opportunities, networking platforms, and learning opportunities. During your induction program and term 0, you will have more than 50 alumni coming for guest lectures, experience sharing, and other activities. I request you to try and connect with them and learn as much as possible from them. Our public relations is the brand custodian of the institute and takes care of all the communication with the stakeholders. They have been instrumental in internalizing the brand guidelines, building and maintaining relations with the media houses, and using the platforms to enhance the reputation of the institute. Regarding the living experience on the campus, you have the mess facility, gymnasium, laundry services, sports, medical, counselors, yoga, everything, foreign languages, it's all available on the campus. However, you should be cautious and try to maintain social distancing norms. There's a medical room that's located at the ground floor of the Maitri Hostel, and it's a 24/7 facility. Discipline is a virtue, and it is required in all aspects of our life. You must use your time and emotions judiciously. It is very important to prioritize your activities, develop patience, and be persevering in all your endeavors. The 2-week induction program that starts right in the afternoon today itself will be covering a plethora and a big range of subjects in management knowledge, Bloomberg, basics of economics, accounting, critical thinking, case analysis, communication skills, ethics, and so on. We have modules in yoga, wholesome, holistic self-management, dance, fitness, creativity workshops, and etiquette and personal grooming. We also have a term 0, which will cover business history, corporate social responsibility, emerging paradigms in business management, management thought leadership, orientation to economics, orientation to entrepreneurship, orientation to incubators, sustainable development, presentation skills, and so on. I hope and I request that you will stretch yourself in the next 2 years and do your best to develop your full potential while you are with us for 2 years on the campus. So on behalf of the Institute, I once again welcome all of you. Let's all work together to make our parents, our alma mater, and the country proud of us. Thank you so much.
There is a welcome video that has been specially prepared for all of you. I request you to please pay.
अभी अभी हुआ यकीन कि आग है मुझ में कहीं हुई सुबह मैं जल गया सूरज को मैं निकल गया रूबरू रोशनी रूबरू रोशनी धुआं छटा खुला गगन मेरा नई डगर नया सफर मेरा जो बन सके तो हम सफर मेरा नजर बिना जरा रूबरू रोशनी रूबरू रोशनी धुआं छटा खुला गगन मेरा नई डगर नया सफर मेरा जो बन सके तो हम सफर मेरा नजर बिना जरा रूबरू रोशनी
Thank you, Monica ma'am, for highlighting the achievements and merits in all aspects of the Institute and for presenting to the students a peek into the opportunities at the Institute and beyond. Thank you so much. The time has come for which each one of us is eagerly awaiting the address by our honored chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal. I'm happy to invite him to address the gathering.
Let me see. This is for the next slide. ये वाला ठीक ओके Good morning, everyone, especially to all the students who have just now entered into the new phase of their career. Most revered beacon of light, Professor Pillai, Vice Chancellor of this esteemed university, with whom I have a very special bonding and a relationship. I'm like to him like his student. I don't consider myself to be an industry veteran or a chief guest here. I'm a part of his family all the way. Thank you, sir, for inviting me. For the last a month and a half since the preparations have been going on, I've been interacting with Professor Khanna. It has been a wonderful experience, ma'am, talking to you on different aspects of deep investments that the university, under your leadership, under the guidance of all the faculty members, have been doing, and the products which finally would go out from here would be your brand ambassadors. That's what I think the inculcation of those value systems is what I could understand from you. You are trying to transmit, you're trying to put among the students, among the fellow colleagues, and also contribute marvelously towards the nation building. These are small steps, but extremely important. In my next 35 to 40 minutes that have been allocated to me, I would like to have a straight talk with the center of gravity here, the students, with boys and girls who come from different families, from different social milieu, from different areas of competencies, have different aspirations, have different goals and objectives put for them. They have been successful so far in their academic pursuits, plus many other areas. But I do think they have one goal towards building a better working world. That is what the present organization where I work for has a tagline as well. We all in our current organization work and strive towards making a transformed society which can deliver value to each and every one of us as fellow citizens, as fellow colleagues. I would cover in my next 35 minutes some of the areas like what will make you successful in your forthcoming years of your journey. What is the environment in which we are working? What are the major changes? Professor Khanna touched upon few areas. I'll try to elaborate on them. What are the future of jobs? Ultimately, a management institution, when you take an admission, somewhere behind, or at least in a subconscious mind, you do have a situation, where would I be working, what type of job I'll be doing, what type of areas I would work to contribute. But more importantly, I think I leave a thought behind all of you as to, in leading organizations, what do we actually look in a candidate when we give him or her a chance to work along with us, rub their shoulders with us. I've been part of some of the organizations which today are very, very respected brands in the world: Microsoft, IBM, EY. So what makes us select people for such organizations? This is something which I would like to leave as a thought. What are the attributes we look in the candidates? I'll also present some of the case studies which in the last few years have actually transformed India. and then if there are question answers, I'll be more than happy to take them. That's the agenda of my discussion. As an opening remark to all the students, I would say your nature determines your future. I repeat, your nature, your personal attitude to life will determine what your future is going to be. Very simple statement, but a very, very powerful thought to think through. What is your nature will determine your future. Future is not a function of what you have studied here. Absolutely not. You may get 95% marks. You may have an A+ grade right throughout. But it is your attitude in life that will determine where you would go, what levels you will take, what positions you would hold in any organization or in your family or in your life. That's far more important. So would you be having empathy towards your fellow colleagues, your family members? Are you grateful to many, many people who are contributing or who have contributed to bring you here? And what is your belief system? What values you carry yourself? And finally, a manager is extremely mindful of the resources he has, the constraints under which he would be working. Does he have the ability to take tough calls and say no? Saying yes to everything is very easy, but to say no to something which you think is either on an integrity scale, has a questionable mark, or if it were to be done, you would get temporary happiness, but in the long term, you may make yourself or your organization vulnerable to different risks. That's a very important element, and there are many books that have been written on how to say no, when to say no, why to say no. To say yes, it doesn't take anything. But to say no to somebody shows the strength of your character, your ability to discern data and to come around, an ability to do the next things much better. I'll give you an example of one of the most successful persons in India. Rather, a person, when he came to bat on a cricket pitch, whole India stopped. Bharat Ratna, Sachin Tendulkar. Coming from a very humble background, a person who has played in all forms of cricket and has scored over 101 centuries. Would you know that he was 27 times out in his 90s, what we call them as vulnerable 90s. So when I come here, how many times I would have spoken, there is always a feeling whether I'll deliver something or not in a public platform like this. So there is an element of vulnerability, and 90s to 100, the batsman is always thinking one more century. And that is where in the mind game, the opponent player will simply try to take the advantage. That's the life. In 2007, which was the peak year of Sachin, and he scored 9 centuries, he got thrice out on 99. Can you believe this? Otherwise, he would have scored 12 centuries, and no batsman, including Bradman, has scored that many centuries in one calendar year. To add to it, Sachin carries the ignominy of maximum number of ducks. Golden ducks, 0, 20 times in his career. 20 times. So if you look at 100 centuries, if you look at 20 ducks, choice is yours. What do you want to see in a human being? What do you want to see in a colleague? And some of the times, not once, twice, 54 times, he was completely bowled in his long career. What does it mean? The bowler had seen a weakness in him and completely blew him out when he didn't get out on a catch or something like that, but he was defenseless. And there have been many players who have continuously troubled him, like Brett Lee had taken his 14 wickets. Why I'm saying this is because of such a person with such a huge brand who played and sustained himself at the top of cricket for 24 continuous years. In the very first year when he came to bat, he was bleeding. He was hit on his nose by none other than Waqar Yunus on one side and Wasim Akram on the other side. Navjot Singh Sidhu told him, फर्राटे की बॉल आती है, कान फटता है, जाएगा क्या वापस खेलने को? After the blood was coming out, he said, खेलेगा. This is all documented everywhere. That's the spirit. He has scored more than 15,000 runs. Rahul Dravid has scored almost 14,000 runs. But India stopped when Sachin played. Why? Sachin was adaptable to all forms of cricket. One day, T20, and he continued to play till India won the World Cup in Wankhede. He was a person with tremendous gratitude. If you see the last time when he played on the cricket field, he rolled the pitch and carried that home. That's the gratefulness he expressed to the same place where he was playing for years together. That's the only time in the history of his cricket career that he brought his mother to see his last match. That's the affection he had for his family. He had empathy, he brought in trust among people. So, fellow students, young minds, these are the attributes that we also see when we select people. We never see that in the last 4 matches, Sachin was out for 0, but his class is permanent. The selectors kept on selecting him for years together. So what message this persona gives us is that consistency, trust, empathy is what if you transmit, sky is the limit, and you will sustain yourself. Otherwise, this is a very competitive world. You go out in the market, you go out in a firm to work. If you have all these things, you will continue working. If you falter anywhere, at any single step, you are out. That's the problems of the private industry and entrepreneurship that we get into. You may lose millions of dollars if you don't have these attributes. So I would urge you to look into and read Sachin books about Sachin and see his videos and learn from there, because 24 years is a small word to say, but it might be more than the life that you people are here. It's a generation in which we people have lived, right? For 50 years, 48 years, 60 years, just divide 24 by 65, that many years I have seen him playing. Many other players around his time who would have batted at number 3 or number 4 have been wiped out. He never gave space to the others to come. That is where the leader holds on. That's what the message his persona tells us. So did you understand what I have said in the field of sustainability, like Professor Pillai talked about? Sustainability is also when you get here into MBA, after which you will get a job or a role to play in life. What efforts you would put as a person will be far more important to continue moving in your own careers. Changing the subject a bit, coming to the main areas of what is happening around us. If you have read Mahabharata, or you have heard or seen Mahabharata, there's a famous saying, 5 गांव तो क्या सुई के नोक के बराबर भी जमीन नहीं देंगे. Actually, for centuries together, Alexander, Ashoka, much before Jesus Christ was born in year 320, 236 circa, people realized that more land they have, more powerful they would be. So the wars were fought to acquire land. Then came machines. Nations realized more machines you have, you can grow industry and more powerful you would become. So the entire saga of the colonialism is centered around which nation would have more machines, more industrial workers, cheaper outputs than the countries which did not go or they did not let industries to come, which is what is exploitation of the economy, and more industrial powers came, England, Germany, and many other nations. US, which had a large migration of Europeans, especially English people, was lucky to have George Washington and Abraham Lincoln as their presidents. They changed the paradigm. They said, we will make United States as a country of universities, as a nation of educational institutions. So they invested because they strongly believed and invested that more knowledge we would have, more is the control in the world we'll do. So knowledge became a center of gravity for powerful control in the world. And this is what till World War II and even beyond, the entire power shifted from industrialization towards knowledge management. What is the world in the last 10 years has moved to and is going to move? More data you have, more powerful you would be. Some of you must have read the news that Elon Musk is trying to or has almost given an offer of $42 billion for a company that has virtually no assets. You can put that organization and wrap it up in a piece of paper and put it in with your pocket. And he's paying $42 billion. More than 70 countries out of the 140 countries in the world do not have their GDP equal to $42 billion. Why is he doing that? And that company is Twitter. Most of you who are on Twitter would be knowing. So Twitter henceforth will be part of Elon Musk's acquisition. And the price he's paying is $42 billion. There must be something going on in his mind. He's not out of his mind when he puts a price of $42 billion. As simple as that, he will have millions and millions of people data with him. He can build different applications, put different algorithms, and then cut and slice and come up with new applications with that data. Just think through, before coming here, you must have clicked some pictures and sent it to your WhatsApp groups. You want to send a letter to somebody, it will cost at least 1 rupee, at least 5 rupees. No letters are sent, no greeting cards are sent without a cost. But people who have invested in WhatsApp technology have made it free. Why? Billions of dollars have been invested on that. There's a huge infrastructure, you be in Australia, Russia, or Japan. WhatsApp works in multiple languages. It is free of cost to everybody. WhatsApp has almost taken away the entire review line of all the telecommunication providers because making phone calls are free. So is it being done due to charity or somebody has got tremendous amount of money somewhere put in and he's letting all the phone calls go through? No. It is the basic data that is being provided by you and me on the platform WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, that is driving the business paradigms. And what is standing behind it are different algorithms. Those algorithms which people are writing every day is the key where the world is changing. Be it in the disruption, be it in e-commerce, be it in different areas. So coming years would be the years where data being available almost free of cost. It's like we are the raw material to the factory, or we are fueling the data to WhatsApp and other people, and they are holding the data and they are slicing and taking meaningful decisions. Advertisers are coming on them. So given this, all of you students should start looking towards a career in which data management, data analytics, perseverance and consistency of data to be sliced in different ways is something you should learn, what we call as data fluency. There are 5 other elements which are changing the entire scenario around us. One is, in the last few years, digital consumerism has gone to a very different level. Digital consumerism, what does it mean? You and I buy goods on an e-commerce platform. We do financial transactions on Paytm. Do you know that when Jio launched its new phone, in 14 flat days, they had 5 crore subscribers. 14 flat days, 5 crore subscribers. It took almost 15 years by Airtel to have that many subscribers. 14 days and 15 years, just multiply that by the number and see the ratio. How was it possible? Simple Aadhaar card is available. They extracted the data and said, good enough, he is my customer. So the data consumerism has changed the way the business is going to be done. Earlier, it was largely digital systems that were being brought up. Municipal corporations had their ERP systems being built. Banks had their banking applications being built. Now, not anymore. We are adding a smart layer to the existing applications and making them far more intelligent. Smart cities is one such concept, where route movement is being done, where your mobile phones and cameras are integrated to tell you if you take this route, you'll be better off. So that's a smartness that is being added. So we are saying that digitally intelligent systems are evolving. We are no more anywhere now looking at digital optimization, but we are looking at digital transformation. Till 5 years back, almost all banks had a very simple way. You go to a branch, you do your transaction, the teller there would look into your system and would give you the information. Now that is no more existing. You don't go to the branches. There is a competition among the bankers who would offer more value-add services. At your toe, at your tip, what type of services will be offered. So the experience of the customer to be at a different level is what we are looking at, and that gives you a new opportunity to work on as and when you get into your job streams. So from a process engineering and re-engineering, we are doing lots of work in a complete data management. You would go to a doctor, he would prescribe a medicine. Today, you tell a doctor that I am having these symptoms. He will put in an algorithm, and out of many medicines, he can clearly say this will be the most effective. That is where the science technology convergence has happened. So to repeat, the 5 big changes that are happening around us, where data is the most paramount importance, is digital consumerism, digitally intelligent systems coming up. Transformation is completely overtaking just the optimization of digital era, and more importantly, almost all organizations which you will work for or we are working today are trying to give a different experience to our clients. If we don't give that, we don't exist anymore. I'll take you to a very interesting case study, and I think people in the last seats, they should be looking at some achievement that India has done. Do you know there is a Kumbh in the country? Every 6 years there is an Ardha Kumbh, and another 6 years there is a complete Kumbh. Prayagraj or Allahabad is the Sangam where Kumbh takes place. For centuries together, this particular place has been a conglomeration of all people. Every 6 years and 12 years they go there. Britishers maintained a complete system because they ruled the country and this area for many years. So they had a manual system, very well documented, and for years together it was being run manually. The chief secretary of that state, in one of the meetings with us, he said, I want to give a different experience to the pilgrims, and can we do and transform the manual Kumbh to digital Kumbh in 2019. He had, and I also had, humbly speaking, some experience of managing such big conglomerates, having worked in Saudi Arabia and how the Eid and other things were being handled there. So we had a long discussion and we worked in 2019 along with the government of UP to make the experience of pilgrims and take it at a different level. If you ever get a chance, see some of the videos of how Ardha Kumbh in 2019 was organized. Beautiful YouTube videos are there. Just to let you know, the Kumbh Mela is a 8 weeks, 2 months in the coldest of the winters, an event which had 24 crores pilgrims, 24 crore pilgrims in about 2 months' time coming there, and on certain days of those 2 months it was 3.5 crores to 4 crores people in one single day visiting Kumbh area. It is spread over 3,200 hectares, 32 different departments of the state government of UP and central government, many ministries were involved in it. The simple problem which was kept, let's say a farmer in a village, Ram Singh, he wants to visit Kumbh, or he wanted to visit Kumbh with his parents and 2 children and a wife. He had a very simple question: how do I go to Kumbh? Where do I live? Will my children and parents be safe? When do I leave Kumbh? Will I be able to come back to my house within the 7 or 8 days that I have planned for? Very simple questions. Now think, in the mass of about 2 crore people coming from a village, what would be he thinking? मैं और आप शायद जाएंगे भी नहीं, right? But the farmer is hell-bent upon coming. So the government of the day and the industry around it, in an era where terrorism was at the highest peak, where a small mishap could have taken lives of thousands of people, that was an added problem. In that place, how would you manage the movement and give a different experience other than digital experience? आप नहीं कर सकते हैं. Nobody can do it unless you actually give a digital layer to it. There are many other elements in it, right from waste management to providing safe water to drink, to make the movement on roads smooth and comfortable. You take a dip and move out. There are places where too much of people would be there. They are most vulnerable to attacks. And resources, food, how do you give it to the hundreds and thousands of people there? How would you do the parking of the place? And thousands of people are lost. Children are lost. How do you find them? So all these issues, how do you do a social media campaign? So these are all management issues. These are not pilgrim-related issues. There are certain resources, certain technologies. When you study, your teachers will be telling you, you have to think of those applications and then start working along with people who have got experience and learn and move and do certain modules within that. We created a zonal, local and sectoral plans. We set up the Mela area. When I say we, means including government of Uttar Pradesh. We had movement tracked, intelligent layers attached to that. Aesthetics had to be maintained, and finally telecommunications had to be maintained. All that is a part of this project. Think of the size, scale of this program. It is simply not an IT-driven program. It is a management-driven program. And this country is proud of doing so because now it is a case study in Harvard Business Review. Wherever they have called people from India, Harvard Business School, in the last 3 years, I think 7 to 8 visits have happened from the administration side, from the company side, from different people side, as to how this wonder was carried out. Google Maps were created. Robotics was put in full place. If you see predictability, where the crowd is moving, how do you divert them to a different place? By the data analytics was carried out. Thousands of meters of your control walls, firewalls were created, where visibly where the people were moving were put in. And this resulted in zero stampede. No life was lost. Not even a single person lost his life. 77,500 people were reported lost. Everyone was united in less than 2 hours' time as against 14 days, which was taking earlier. That has been the achievement. And there were automation of a very different level. And now the whole process has been put as a new SOP. Subsequently, different state governments, be it Nasik, be it in Indore, be it in Rajasthan, be it in Gujarat, and be it in Haridwar, they're trying to do it the same way. So this is where I said changes in the technology, different experience that I said people are looking towards that. It's different experience sharing that is being given to people, making a pilgrim feel happy that he took this journey and came back happily. That's the final achievement of the management of resources, management of people, management of money. All that Professor Khanna would be teaching you in the next 2 years. You have to think it that way. How am I going to implement and execute different programs? पढ़ना एक बात है, उसको कैसे आपको translate करना into the execution is something which normally academic institutions don't teach, but they make you understand what it is all about. And after that, it is up to your imagination, how do you implement them. Just to run a bit faster, there have been also 2 generations. One is our generation, one is your generation. In our generation, we were more concerned about the profitability of an organization, about profit versus social responsibilities. Whereas we were talking more on digital optimization. Now is coming the era of cultural innovation, where organizations would become intelligent. And when I say they'll become intelligent, means they would depend more and more on machines, more and more on algorithms. And that is how things will start changing. I talked about algorithms. Do you know that when you are watching your Facebook page or you are watching Instagram, what is happening to you? There is an algorithm which is looking towards your eyelashes, eyelids movements, which color it is getting sparkled. There is a catch of your entire facial expressions, and it also clearly encapsulates which sides you are looking at. Subsequently, it will throw you all the time there. I normally do photography. Every day morning, I see a small video on my iPhone in 2020 portraits that I clicked. I don't know. I never ask them, but they do it. How do they do it? Through the algorithm. They search, they do it. Similarly, at certain other places, they identify what foods you eat, which restaurants you give. So till few years back, we were always dependent on divine God. Today, there is a shift. People say Google Devta, isn't it? So dependence on machine becoming co-workers is so profoundly expanding that some of the basic axioms on which you and we studied would not be there. The control will be in the hands of Facebook, such platforms. And therefore, if you want to make a career, you should start thinking of innovations. You should start thinking of things like what others are doing and where the world is moving. Another example is a very good example of how things are changing. If you go to a hospital as a patient, what do? The doctor comes there, he takes a picture and sees your previous prescriptions. He suggests a medicine, he writes on a piece of paper. That is called as perception that you may have COVID or you may have SARS or you may have a stomach upset. That's his perception. He may be a very good judge, he may be a moderate judge. But now with the new technologies, he can clearly predict that the last 3 X-ray reports showed this data, you are likely to get this disease, my friend. You be careful. That's what artificial intelligence and machine are telling us. There are mathematical models in which instead of he writing what medicine you should take, those models will tell you through the machine, this would be the most effective medicine. That is how the entire medical fraternity is moving to. And in certain places, the entire operations, surgeries are being now carried by robots. To the precise that spinal surgery has become something you go in the morning, you come out in 3 days' time walking, and after a few days of recuperation you can run. Otherwise, in my time, or till few years back, spinal surgery, people would prefer to stay at home rather than get it done. But with robotics, easy thing. If you are a doctor in Darbhanga district and you have to do a heart surgery, a surgeon in Delhi through robotics can tell, you just hold this robotics properly and do it. Through telemedicine, treatments are being given. That is how the paradigm is shifting. The entire brick and mortar model of the hospitals is not going to exist to that scale as it is today. Because what has COVID taught? Doctors coming to your home or through telemedicine treatment. That is where the new paradigms are coming, my friends. These are all management issues, less of technology issues. These are all resource management issues. Certain things teach us that way. So, where is the job market actually moving to? And how is it dependent on? There are 3 areas. There was a time when we were looking towards, a survey was carried out few years back in which we identified that 93% of the students thought that there are only 7 professions in India, or 7 careers: law, engineering, medicine, IT, management, design, computer applications. But honestly, Industry 4.0 and the demographic changes and the changes that I talked about have created more than 250 types of different career options. So all of you who are here do have a spectrum of more than 250 different options of career choosing, making your careers in 40 different domains, each domain normally offering 5,000 jobs within that. That is where the job market is moving to. So I repeat, there are no more 7 career options. There are almost 250 plus career options in India. Just have a look at this table. All alone in automotive sector, where people used to go and stand on machines for a whole day and do the manufacturing on the shop floor. Today, Maruti Udyog runs and has blockchain specialists, 3D accident repair experts. They do a lot of 3D printing before they put the cars, and robotics. So the manpower of Maruti is much less today when their production is much more than previous years. Why? These technologies are driving. So if you want to get into say, automotive industry, the possibility and probability of doing an IT-led job or an expertise in a different area is very high. Add to it the sustainability part, like Professor Pillai talked about, is much more. Entrepreneurship is what Mrs. Khanna talked about. There is tremendous amount of possibility of you to become much better entrepreneur in life, because India, like any other developing countries, is offering much more than developed countries. And that's a reality. I had a wonderful career in Middle East. I came back to India and I've never regretted, because it has given me chance to arise here and chance to go up and serve the society as well. New cities are coming up. Generation is young. Do you know that by 2030, 72% of Indian population will move into cities? We were taught 78% of India lives in villages. I'm making a statement here and it is well documented. 72% of India would live in cities and towns by 2030. What it means? Migration of population and new infrastructure to be built to give them schools, hospitals, colleges, get them married there, have their children grow up, and create command control systems for city management, municipal corporations. All that will be a plethora of changes, and that is a global phenomenon as well. So the world has changed and is changing at such a fast pace that people, students like here, are lucky to be at the cusp where technology is changing and is implementing many of the resources that possibly require less amount of money, but better results. You may have heard, some of you may have heard of crowd economy. That is a rampant thing. You have an idea, you want to implement, you simply go out and put it on a internet or on a social media. People will put $5, $10, $15, and that's crowd economy. आपको पैसा लाने की बहुत बड़ी ज़रूरत नहीं है. Venture funding is easily available. There are many TV shows that are also coming, and they are reality. So crowdfunding, crowdsourcing is a common thing. You can start your own business, what we call today as startups. Till 2017, there was only one unicorn being added in India every year. Unicorn is an organization which means its market value is $1 billion or above. Last year and the previous year, India had 14 unicorns respectively. 14. So सीधा add karo $14 billion. That's what startups are coming up to. So they would be doing certain things. You can be part of that revolution. Few organizations in the last few years never changed. They were at the pinnacle. Kodak If some people are sitting here, they would have known Kodak, Xerox, these organizations. Kodak was world-leading filmmaker. Do you know that they made the first digital camera, but the management turned it down by saying what would happen to our film industry? They finished. Digital cameras took over because that was something which was coming. Xerox, one of the best innovative organization in its own time, decided not to change. Compaqs came, many other organizations came, and they don't exist. Similarly, HMV, they didn't see Netflix coming. They did not see CDs coming. They are finished. There is no HMV now. Otherwise, Lata Mangeshkar spent her whole life recording on HMVs. Where is a HMV set up in some museums now? So that's where, if I don't change, that is where I said Sachin Tendulkar, adaptability to one-day cricket, T20, he has gone ahead. You all will be part of programs and policies in time to come. That is what management degree would provide you, and I was extremely happy to see many of the courses that your institute has, plus the quality certification that you have received. These are fundamental foundations for you to look good, to have 100+% offer letters when you pass, as long as your attitude is on the right direction. I'll give you another 2 examples how resources are being managed today, both by technology and by MBAs. In EY, we have large number of good management students who have spent 5-7 years in the industry. One good example is food and civil commodities distribution. If you remember, somebody said that food has to be distributed in India through public distribution system, rations. There is a National Food Security Act. But by the time the food comes in, the grains come in an FCI go down and reach the last person, lot happens, which is not very good. Either the quantities are less or quality is bad. So in order to manage and maintain, many state governments in India have now gone digitally. They will simply go to a food go down, do a complete inventory management, and track the route on which the grains are moving, put routes, intelligent systems, digital systems to see through the algorithms which is the best route to go. A distance which a truck driver or a transporter was taking 10 days, grains are moving now in 1 day or 1.5 days. And with that as a precision, it goes to the PDS guy who can clearly see through the scanners put there that his 100 kg bag has 100 kg. And then it is distributed to digital ration card holders. Maharashtra is one state, Gujarat is another state, your UP is another state, Andhra Pradesh is another state where such systems have been put in place. Point of sale terminals have been put on all the ration card shops, wherein you come, you bring in a ration card. India is now thinking of one ration card, one nation. That means if I'm entitled to ration in X city and I move as a laborer to other city, I can still get my ration. So that is how it is happening. In Gujarat, EY is involved in a project in which the state government is managing over 4,000 crores of procurement every month. They have 1.31 lakh metric tons of grain to be moved. So that's the quantity which is being digitally managed and distributed. In UP, there are roughly about 14.84 crores of ration card holders. Of the beneficiaries, out of which 3.6 crores are the ration card holders. They ship 8.1 lakh metric tons of grain every month, and they have more than 80,000 PDS shops. Never till digital interface was created, such transparency, such correctness of weight to the right beneficiary was available. Today it is available. And what has happened when this project was implemented, 99% of the ration cards are Aadhaar authenticated. That means the right beneficiary has been identified. Almost about 30 lakh duplicates were identified, and 100 crore saving has been accrued to the state every month. So the cost of the project has come out. So the reason I'm saying all this is to see the plethora of the work that is being done in India, the management related issues, and when you go out in the job market or when somebody comes here to interview you, these things should be continuously known to you. We did a project during the COVID-2 and when COVID-3 was expected in Rajasthan, in which we predicted which particular cluster would have more as a problem and how the equipment and doctors have to be shipped, to be put there. So there was a prediction and that proved to be correct. And finally, Rajasthan state had the least of the fatalities and least of the transmission. So towards the end, I would wrap it up by saying to all the students here, please get into learning digital way of doing the things. Prepare some sort of prototypes which demonstrates digital fluency. Learn, besides your own subjects, data analytics, and never underestimate your or peers' creativity, because that is the next way forward. And if possible, either learn a machine language or learn an international language. These are the 4 areas where you should be spending time in 2 years in this management institute. Digital fluency, learn data analytics, be much more creative. Don't keep on doing the same job again and again, because that's not going to happen. Most of the routine jobs are being automated or being done by machines now. And learn one language, either a machine language or an international language. You have 2 years to go. I don't know what emphasis Professor Khanna and our colleagues will put in. In my humble way, I have broken these 4 years, 2 years of yours in 4 semesters. What a student should be doing in the first semester is start interacting with your fellow colleagues, understand what ideas they have, what they want to do, and start networking with your fellow colleagues, students here, with your teachers. As much as you network, more you would get ideas, more you would be successful. In the second, so this is called as an identification stage. In the second semester, try to prioritize what you want to do. Be very clear what you want to do and start prioritizing and learning those. Ideate maybe something which appealed to you as an infatuation. Now try to make it a reality or move to the next thing. Start writing some articles. Be an author of a few articles. That gives you a lot of thoughts that whether I'm moving in the right direction. And try to be a member of many societies, many other organizations. Third, in the third semester, freeze what you thought in the first year and start working on doing it. Engage extensively, and if possible, engage externally, do some internships, because that teaches you far more than anything else. And last year, once you have come back, try to implement and execute those things. I would say PPT is PowerPoint presentation, but actually it is patience, perseverance, and tolerance. You cannot become a successful manager just by 2 years of work here. You have to be patient, you have to be a good learner, you have to be doing things with a lot of perseverance, and you have to tolerate. You will fail, you will not be successful, you will see a bad day, but then if you have the ability to tolerate all that, you will shine. What are we looking in people? We are looking in people one fundamental thing: integrity. I have interviewed more than 20,000 people in the last 25 years of my career. I try to put them into situations where I test integrity. A simple question. You want to work for government? Yes, sir. So if the government officer shows some inkling of some gratification, how do you handle it? So there are different answers different people would give. You would come to know where this man stands for. There is a zero tolerance situation in almost all organizations which have developed a good brand for themselves. Integrity is the most important thing. We look into it. Integrity at work, integrity with relationships, integrity in people. We look towards how energetic you are. You are coming to a meeting or you are coming to an interview with a lot of energy, lot of enthusiasm. I said Sachin, he actually expressed enthusiasm and tremendous amount of courage to face every bowler of different sort. So in an interview, you have to express that, and as a selector, I have to see whether you would remain energetic right throughout. This will be in your case studies when you would be doing here. When teachers will give you some problems, they would also be saying, this boy or a girl shows enthusiasm. But enthusiasm without domain or without knowledge has got no meaning. So how much understanding you have come prepared for that situation is what is important. And build relationships, be networked. What do we provide to people as good organizations? We do try to provide entrepreneurship to people. We try to give them challenges on which they would work. Kumbh Mela was another challenge that I talked about. Distribution of food was another challenge. In a way, we were trying to finish the corruption there, right? Without saying that is what we were doing. We were trying to bring in a social responsible governance process, because ultimately if you give 20 kilo to the right guy, the quantity that he's entitled to, what have you done? You have demonstrated social responsible things. And we try to bring in people, create an environment where they can be passionate about what they want to do. Last but not least, work in the next 2 years with an unwavering mind, with a lot of focus around here. The difference between Arjun, Karn and Karn, both of them were big Dhanurdharis. One had clarity and was full of gratitude towards his his Dronacharya or towards Krishna. The other was equally or a better bowman, but had wavering mind. One day he would become Danveer, the other day he would go and sit with Duryodhana. ये सब problems अगर आप छोड़ दें and have a clear focus, and you can only see an eye of the bird to whom you have to shoot, you will be successful. With that, I end my talk. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take.
The floor is now open for question and answers.
More than happy, maybe from teachers, from professors. You can ask any question. I'll try to do justice to the. I think I did either a very good job or a lousy job.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Very, very interesting talk. I'm a professor here. My question is that you said that integrity is something that you look for. Can integrity be taught, or is it something that is, it's just inherent in a person?
Say again?
Can integrity be taught? Should it be part of the curriculum, or is it something which is inherent in a person?
Well, my view here is integrity normally is not taught. It is a value system which you get from many people with whom you interact. Your parents are your first set of examples, and many people here, I don't know if there are parents here, if they demonstrate integrity in their home, in their work culture, that will transcend in the kids. Teachers, If they come and do a lousy job in teaching, or if they do a wonderful job in teaching, they are empathetic to this, integrity will come. I'm talking about the school, at the school level. At the college level, hand-holding is not needed, but direction is needed. So if you demonstrate direction to the students at this level, my view is they'll be beacons tomorrow. That is what I strongly believe. Integrity cannot be taught anywhere. Two people will work in in a same situation in different ways, right? And how do you define integrity is a long question by itself. Did I answer your question? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Shalija Karve, I'm a faculty here. I would like to add to it that even in institutes like us, and when they go in organizations, when the processes and the policies profess and practice integrity, by demonstration, it is easy for all the employees or members of such institutes to imbibe it and follow the path. So many times people make mistakes and they try shortcuts, but later on they change their route and go on the corrected path. This is just an additional comment to what you answered.
Yes, madam, I agree with you. But disruption in the society in the last few years have been so paramount. One doesn't know what process is right and whether what you are saying is the right process or the other process. So there is a complexity around it. But I am reminded of a small story which I think I should put it here. A girl, while coming from Paris to one of the other stations, Nice, she does not buy a ticket. She was fined. The matter is over, she paid the fine and went. She applied in a firm 3 times and she failed. She was rejected. This girl, after 3rd failure, comes back to the university and says, "What is wrong with you guys? I've been answering all your questions absolutely correct." She was sent to the Dean of Ethical Committee and the Dean of the university. After hearing her for about 15 minutes, she was shown that ticket that was given to her. And that was the end of her career. Right? So, and this is actual truth. And she has written it. She rose to very high heights subsequently. And that one lesson was sufficient for her. So integrity is something which cannot be compromised in any and every form of life. And that comes through a very hard way. Narayan Murthy is a man who the entire industry, Tatas, have a different image than many other organizations. If you read Sudha Murthy, you will find what integrity is all about. Right? Choti cheezein hain, but the management institutes, colleges, if they demonstrate that through the teachers, professors, that is what gurus are for. A guru is not supposed to work only by transmitting the subject that is being given. And that is where we touch their feet, because we become better human beings in following them. They have sacrificed many things before saying anything. If any person on the road you come across, I think there are only 2 or 3 people whom you would stop. One is the teacher, the other is a soldier. Right? So that's where the integrity plays a role. Students are not asking questions. Why? What happened? Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. It was great hearing you out. I'm just at the back. So, so my question is related to the freshers. Like I and along with a lot of my peers must be freshers here. So what do you recommend to the freshers? Like, should we stock ourselves with a lot of skills at the initial age, or should we just do some courses, like a couple of skills, and we should excel at those? And my second question is regarding ethical dilemma. Like sometimes in future, like when we'll work in a corporation, there will come a time which will profit our organization, our actions or our initiatives, but that will not be ethical. So at times, how do you or how do corporations take decision?
The second answer is very simple, which was my first opening sentence. Say no. You should have an ability to say no if you principally feel that this is not the right thing, correct thing, ethical thing to be done. Whatever lucrative things are there before you, I may achieve my numbers, I may achieve my incentive, I may achieve laurels, we may have some records created, but if it is unethical, it is unethical, and as a manager, you should have the ability to say no. Trust me, in the long term, that will pay you much more than at that time, just say yes. I have been taught in that area. I have been working with government for last 25 years, and not even a single blemish has ever come to me, because I have developed the habit of saying no whenever such things come in, and so is my team, so is my organization. And I'm very proud to say that the whole organization thought process is like that. So there is no question of this dilemma. Dilemma exists only if you think of shortcuts. And both, you can save money by not buying a ticket. I gave you an example. That's a dilemma. And you can go and buy a burger after that. That's a dilemma. So what was your first question? What courses you should do?
No, as a fresher, what should we focus at? Like, should we focus on just stocking ourselves with a lot of skills? Or should we focus on just accumulating one or two or just a couple of skills and excelling at those?
So the first 6 months, you should do the identification of what areas you want to work on, ideate in the second, and then prioritize yourself. So you should definitely, besides in the studies and the subjects that you will be taught, you pick up 1 or 2 skills that you think you have your passion in, and then start working around that. Form some groups around that. Any other question? Yes? We can take 2 more questions.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Shrey. So my question goes, as you have been all across the world meeting different world leaders, so what striking difference do you feel that makes them great, or that makes them unique? Like they are quite different from normal people like us. So what is that striking difference which makes you a different kind of leader? Thank you.
Okay. I think there are certain common things in among all great people. They have empathy, they have gratification, and they have sublime arrogance also. So that's something normal human being finds it very difficult to have all these 3 things in themselves. So Mr. Bill Gates, I have interacted multiple times. He is very knowledgeable. He has got a lot of understanding of both the charitable work he has to do in the recent times as well as technology. Equally, he is proud of building Microsoft. But on the other side, he has a huge humane element of serving the society. That is what has made him what he is today. Similarly, most of us, when we get into some sort of accumulation of physical assets, stop at normal way of thinking of saving money. Most of the CEOs are great people. Mr. Azimji is one example. Who would fly, Narayan Murthy is another example. Who would fly second, in the normal economy class in papers, they would eat food in the same canteens where the staff is taking. They'll mix with people, they'll make friends, and they'll stand firm when it comes down to doing certain things. They are distributor of wealth than accumulator of wealth. That is another difference that you see. Third, perhaps all people who have attained certain laurels in their career, they are very diligent, hardworking and focused. They do not have a cluttered mind, and what they have practiced is that. I gave you the example of Sachin. You see him, how humble he is. You see Amitabh Bachchan, never late in his work. Never means never in such a long career. And never an iota of doubt on his personality. All look at the health and structure, if they are existing, of his peers. You find the difference. And he had most of the diseases with him, right from asthma to stomach ailments and many other problems. But do you know that he does morning exercises almost 2 hours in a day, every day, and he's never late on his sets. So this is something which I think are the qualities of people who shine and who attain certain things in life. Any other question? We'll take one more question, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the luminous talk. My question is, how do we achieve a perfect blend of like academic and co-curricular activities on the campus? And another question is, like it is linked to the question, how do we feed our other passions apart from doing an MBA? Like some of us might have passions related to doing something for the society or doing some social work. How do we like feed that along with our studies? Thank you.
So my simple answer is time management, madam. Slice out time for all what you love to do. Never make that as a secondary thing. Studies is an element to achieve that much better way. So suppose you are a photographer or you like photography as a hobby, you can definitely plan every Saturday and Sunday 1 hour to your interest. If you are a danceress, you can practice that. No education can take you away or is so overwhelming that you can't do other things. It is just a mindset and time management. हाँ, अगर आप लोग 10 बजे ही उठेंगे तो एक problem है. If your mothers have to come and say उठ जाओ, अब फिर आपको मुझे पढ़ना है और मुझे hobby भी करनी है, वो नहीं होगा. It's the same 24 hours to everyone. Did that answer your question? She's speechless.
Sir, you have been in the industry for more than 4 decades now.
Sir.
You have also seen the countries advocating a new policy in education. Industry's involvement, industry support to education institutions is, there are several avenues they are suggesting. One major intervention the government of India has suggested is that education institutions, apart from the teaching from the faculty, 40% of the credits can be earned from industry or from other institutions. It can be from the social sector, it can be from industry and all that. So when we just look at innovations and industry support to education institutions in India, we are rather backward. For example, Bombay, it's a hub, a business capital of India. We have several management institutions. We are one of the premier management institutes. In what way the industries can proactively support management education? I am just putting this in a very specific way because we are addressing these issues. 40% of the credits can be earned from outside. It is not only from India, from anywhere in the world. It can be from industry, it can be from the social sector, it can be from working with NGOs. A lot of things are possible. we have to configure it. We are ready to configure it. We have, as an academic institution, we are confident that we can do it. But how we can really elicit industry support for these things?
I think, sir, this is a very valid and a good observation. My suggestion is that there has to be a two-way outreach program much more aggressively carried out by both the academicians as well as the industry. If within this institute you think people from organizations like Samsung, IBM, Microsoft, ABM Knowledgeware, EY, they have their middle level leadership team spend substantial time with the students and on case studies, that would help the students to look differently at the industry. So that sort of an investment we are at EY are more than happy to do. We'll be more than happy to give you a list of people who are based out of Mumbai as well as outside, who are very keen to come and work with the students here along with the faculty. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is, from your side, if you think some of your faculty members can come and talk to us. Today, with a new paradigm in MS meeting or virtual meetings, this doesn't require massive amount of travel, but preparedness from your side to deliver a talk to us, because we become outdated and we do routine jobs every day. But in order to get some insights into the areas which, and we also have a diverse set of people who may not have been engineers, they may simply chartered accountants. So it will help both. So that is the second area. Third, there are forums on which these things can be addressed. National Skill Development Council is one of that forum. CIA is another forum where interaction between the management institutions, universities can be taken to a different level. But it has to be a two-way level. That's what I think.
We have created in this university, we have created adjunct faculty, adjunct professorships. They do not fulfill any UGC criteria or anything of the sort. So some of them are sitting here again. We take in people from industry. They can come here and stay here and then teach. Maybe for 1 year on a flexi time timetable. We have specifically created adjunct faculty positions and praxis professors, professor of praxis for this purpose. We will see some of them today. And then we have also, in the act of the university, we have also taught industry academia joint taught programs. Not just designing the program for the industry by the university, but jointly designing a program, a module, and jointly teaching it from the academic side as well as from the industry side. We have started some joint industry academia joint taught program. Maybe these are some of your suggestions are very has to be very well taken, and we should definitely look at possibilities of jointly offering, because as a university now we have the freedom, and we should not limit it to, for example, after 5 years you can change. So we are also we have started joint academia industry taught program in specific modules. Probably some of your ideas we will take, and we will definitely need your guidance in such activities.
Excellent, sir. In fact, if that is the case, a little bit more outreach or branding of this particular initiative, if it is carried out, many organizations will be more than happy to send their people to work here and be mentors to many students and go back to the industry or to the jobs or to the place where they are working for. I know quite a few friends who would be more than happy to come and teach and spend hours, right? So they will be more than happy. I can offer my personal services as well. I have no issues on that account. If you think that I can do it, I'll be more than happy. And more importantly, I don't think there could be any other way. One suggestion that I can give is what prohibits people to come. Rajasthan, under the current Chief Minister, has come out with a university called FinTech University. It is about to be launched. There, the rules that have been set for the visiting faculty are no more applicable to the salary structure of the UGC guidelines. They are determined by the market as well as what the person has been drawing. And from that perspective, some fine-tuning is carried out, and otherwise they are not finding it difficult to get professors from the industry. Let me put it another angle to this. You would be surprised, all of you here would be surprised. One of the biggest challenges that organizations like EY, PwC, KPMG face is that we don't get people, good people. This is the biggest problem that we have today. Governments like Ardh Kumbh. Now in Allahabad, I wanted 20 people who are transport experts, about 50 people who are experts in the field of disaster management, where disaster was imminent there. How do you handle it? Certain people in the financial side. You won't believe whatever people we identified, they were working 24/7 throughout the 6 months period, and we were always understaffed. And that is there everywhere. So we don't find good people, and we don't find good faculty, good number of people at the time when we want. The interaction that you just now suggested is one platform through which we can perhaps surmount this challenge. Because I may have 10 students out here whom I am mentoring, and then they are ready as my pipeline for future hiring. With that, thank you very much, team. Thank you very much, all the students. Wish you a very, very prosperous career, and grateful to Professor Pillai, Mrs. Khanna, and all the faculty members who heard me and perhaps liked whatever I said. If there is a bit that I could have contributed, grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish, sir, for your enriching address and rich, valuable advice and insights to the students on life lessons and management issues through vivid, interesting narratives ranging from attitude, empathy, gratitude to consistency, sustainability, and most importantly, I think the all-pervasive impact and role of technology. Thank you so much. I'm sure the students have benefited a lot from this. I now request Vice Chancellor, sir, to present a souvenir to our chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal. Thank you, sir. As we come to the close of this inauguration, may I request Dr. Sanjeevani Kumar to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Chief Guest of today's inaugural ceremony, Mr. Satish Kaushal, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Professor Rajashekharan Pillai, Director of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, Dr. Monica Khanna Madam, faculty members, staff, incoming students, and dear parents. It is my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Induction Committee on the occasion of inaugural ceremony of MBA batch 2022-24 MBA Healthcare and MBA Sports Management. With a deep sense of gratitude, we thank our chief guest, Mr. Satish Kaushal, for gracing the occasion and sharing inspiring thoughts of consistency, empathy, and trust. Your cheerful, encouraging presence has made all the difference. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time. We will always remember patience, perseverance, and tolerance, PPT. We are grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajashekharan Pillai, for sharing words of wisdom and motivating our incoming students. A sincere word of appreciation to our Director, Dr. Monica Khanna Madam, for constant encouragement, inspiring leadership. Your moral support, novel ideas, and guidance has made this possible today. We would like to express our deepest sense of appreciation to our faculty colleagues for the unwavering support. Thank you, Professor Reena, for reciting the campus prayer. Thank you, Professor Geeta Shashidharan, for conducting this inaugural ceremony with such grace. We thank Mr. Arvind Pandidorai, Head of Office of Advancement, for the dedicated efforts and the entire PR team guided by him for the creativity and assistance. We are eternally grateful to all our program officers, division officers, staff members, IT team, event manager, and support staff for their unstinted cooperation and assistance at all times. Dear Student Council members, you made all the efforts to join the inaugural ceremony and made it seamless. We are ever grateful to you. My dear parents and incoming students, you have added colors to this inaugural ceremony. It is your presence that has made this an extraordinary and memorable event. Thanks to all of our students and alumni who have joined the inaugural ceremony on Facebook and live YouTube. Gargi Plaza is looking beautiful today. All of us, first of all, should thank Varun Devata for being kind to us and showering the blessings in the mild presence. Thank you one and all for making this inaugural ceremony a memorable and successful one. Thank you.
I request everyone to rise for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya